Today I'm going to show you how to make melodic techno in the style of Innellea. Innellea is a German DJ, producer and live act who has been making scenes in the melodic scene for quite a while now. And what makes him stand out is his unique sound design and creative approach to making music. And he's one of those rare artists who really reinvents himself with every release he has, which keeps his sound fresh and unpredictable while also staying true to his signature style. I will be breaking down all the essential steps on how to make a melodic track in a style similar to Innellea, like mixing, sound design, effects, drums and so much more. All the sounds that I'm using in this video come from our latest melodic techno producer pack called Voyage, which has over 100 presets for Serum, a sample pack, project files, vocals and so much more. If you want to check out that melodic techno pack, then use the link in the description or click the link over here. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and with that being said, let's get straight into this. Let's start off this track by selecting the right BPM first. I'm going for 124 BPM because this is a great BPM for melodic techno, which usually works at the start right away. And I'm going to drag in a kick, which is this kick from our Voyage pack, kick 12. It's a nice, deep and punchy kick. And let's create a simple pattern like every house track. Like this. Now I'm going to add a bass line to this, and for that I'll be using an instance of Serum with this preset called Bass Arch, which is a very simple like saw and square bass, which works well for rolling bass lines, which I'm going to create here. And it will be very simple. Let's work in D and just create a very simple 1/16th note rolling bass line like this. Let's add that on top of the kick. This is usually a great starting point for melodic techno tracks because these rolling bass lines, you can hear them in a lot of those tracks. I'm going to select a mixer channel and link this Serum bass line to it. Let's first add a kick start at the end of the chain or some side chaining, so side chain to the kick. Already a lot better. And let's lower down the volume a little bit. And EQ to remove a little bit of the high end. And for the rest, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then an OTT, which can work for a little bit of multiband compression. Just a little bit, not too much. We don't want to overdo it. Something like that. A very typical Innellea thing to do is to add a top bass on top of this rolling bass line, which gives a little bit more groove and rhythm to the track. For that, I will be using this preset, which is actually a lead sound from our pack, Eclipse. So it's another melodic techno pack of ours. And we're gonna play this like really low. So it's more like a bass sound. This preset is made out of 2 saw wave tables with some detuning and also some fine tuning to make it even more detuned. And then envelope 1, which has a little bit of attack time and a shorter decay, and that one is linked to the filter cutoff. And it also has a velocity modulation on it, so we can control, for instance, the cutoff with our MIDI velocity, which is nice to create interesting patterns. And then some simple effects like a little bit of distortion, chorus, just to make it a little bit wider. And then some delay and reverb. Very cool sound already. And let's create a pattern with this sound on top of the rolling bass line. Alright, let's go to D3, I think. It can work. Lower down the velocity a little bit so the cutoff is a little bit less open. And I think a pattern like this could already work. Change the velocity at the end of each bar. Makes it a little bit more interesting. Let's put this in a new pattern, so we are a little bit more flexible with pattern. Let's add this one to a mixer channel with Control L or Command L, and let's add an EQ to remove some of the low frequencies, because the rolling bass line is already taking care of that, and otherwise we have some clashing frequencies in the bass. And let's add a kickstart for some side chaining, but the shape is a little bit less steep as the other one, because that needed more of a steep shape so it doesn't clash with the bass. But for this one I'm going to use first a shape kickstart has. Also the mix not too high. I think that works. Another typical sound that you can hear in a lot of Innellea tracks is a kind of acid sound. And for that I'll be using an acid preset we have called Acid Evolution. It sounds like this. It's a little bit of a modern twist on the original 303 acid sound, and that's because it has some detuning and it's using like a wavetable to create the acid instead of using a very steep resonance and cutoff filter. But it's a cool sound, and I think if we layer it with same pattern as this one, it sounds great. Put it up 1 octave. And this one is even wider than the first bass. Let's put it in a mixer channel because it needs some EQ first. Let's add a low cut. And later on we can automate this macro, which opens up the acid. Maybe a little bit of OTT for some multiband compression. And let's increase or remove the delay and add a different delay after the OTT here. Just a fruity delay will do, I think. Something like that. And then a kickstart with a similar shape as the other top bass. Lower down the volume a little bit. Now that the lower layers of the track are ready, I'm going to start adding a lead. Let's create a new pattern and select this serum preset, which is called lead shelf, which is a very big and detuned saw lead. And you can hear quite a lot of these kind of detuned leads in Innellea tracks, which creates a very aggressive and like big sound in these tracks. The sound of this one is made out of 2 saw wavetables. First one has some detuning on it, quite a lot actually, and then the other one is 1 octave lower and does have detune. And there's also a modulation with LFO1 going on the fine tuning of both oscillators, so this kind of creates an analog effect to the lead. And as Innellea likes to use analog synthesizers, this is a perfect fit for this track. There are some effects on there, like this filter, which makes it a little bit more muffled. Then a distortion, which adds a little bit of tape saturation, a delay and a reverb. Just the basic stuff, and then EQ or a chorus. Yeah, a chorus was on there. Make it a little bit wider. And let's create a melody on top of this. Something like that. And then there will be a counter melody. Let's draw this in. So like this. Make them a little bit longer. And let's put it on top of the rest to see how it sounds. Pretty cool. It definitely needs a little bit of gain staging and processing. Add a low cut. And boost some of that mid. Let's add an OTT just a little bit to fatten it up a little bit more. And a kickstart for sidechaining, of course. And then over here, there will be a counter melody, which we're going to make in a few seconds. First, fix the volume. For the counter melody, I'm using a lead called Desire, and it's a typical Innellea lead, which sounds like this. It's made out of a square wave with some detuning, and then another square wave, which is the sub oscillator, 1 octave lower. Quite some white noise actually, and then another saw layer. And you can hear a sound like this in many Innellea tracks. For the effects, there is a little bit of chorus on there and some delay and reverb and EQ that boosts a little bit, just 3 dB of the high end. And let's create a melody with this one, and then we're gonna start in this part, 1 octave higher. And I'm going for a pretty fast rhythm. And then do this again. And while this sounds cool already, it's missing that Innellea touch. And to get that, we're gonna change the grid of the piano roll to create smaller notes. And we're gonna create these kind of glitchy notes that are like really fast. To do this, you can shorten the notes and just kind of double the rhythm. And then just play around with different notes. Go to the F here instead of the E. And it's creating this glitchy, almost kind of like retro games sounding lead. And this really adds a lot of character to the track as well. You can do some patterns here. And then go higher here maybe. Or faster. Sounds cool. Maybe try at the end here some extra notes. That's cool. Maybe shorten these two. That's cool. Let's put this in a mixer channel, add a little bit of EQ. And a kickstart for some sidechaining. Not too much. I quickly added some extra drums, which sound like this together. It consists out of the kick that we already had, then a snare, which is quite noisy, and then a clap layered underneath it for some extra punch. And then at the end of the second bar, there is the clap but then reversed, which creates a nice pre-shift. Then there is this acoustic head loop from the Voyage pack. And like acoustic heads is something that you can hear a lot in Innellea tracks as well. And a normal head loop, which is just like 16 notes. In the second part of the drop, there is another open head incoming. Just to add some extra energy. And this simple percussion loop. Then And some effect sounds that I quickly added is a downlifter like this one, which adds impact to the drop. A short sweep for helping with transitions. Another downlifter and an uplifter. And this like simple snare roll, which is great for transitions between the first and the second part of the drop. There are also some atmospheres in there, like this one, just really low in volume, and it's on the root note of the track, which is D. And then there's also this vocal atmosphere, also to make the drop a little bit bigger, add some extra energy. There is a gross beat on this sample, which adds a stutter effect, and I'm just using a preset called Transgate 1 and some sidechaining to give it some extra movement. That's basically it for all the effects that are there. Then for the arrangement, I want to do a few things. The first thing is changing up the bass line at the last part. So I'm going to make a unique copy of both bass lines. And I want to go down to probably A, I think. Let's see how that sounds. I think A works. Finally, I want to do a few things for the arrangement. One of that is changing up the bass line. So I'm going to make a unique copy of both patterns for the bass. And I think I want to go down right here to A sharp. Just a simple pattern that you can hear in a lot of tracks. And do that for the top bass as well. So A sharp and then C, like this. Copy it. I think it works. And of course we have to change the lead as well, because that one starts on a D and it should start on the A sharp then. Well, that's right. And let's also make a copy of the lead sound and put it up one octave just for some variation. And then the final thing I'm going to do is to automate the acid sound so it opens up like during the track. Let's tweak this knob and then bring the automation for it. Let's see this one right. That sounds cool actually. And that's it for this Innellea style drop. This is the final result. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and could learn a thing or two. If you're looking for more melodic techno tutorials, then check out our channel, because we have quite a lot of them and we cover different artists, techniques and a lot of different stuff on melodic techno. For now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.